Hi guys, welcome back. Chelsea Debate. This is our instant reaction to Chelsea reaching the Champions League final. Josh, we don't make it easy for ourselves, do we? But we beat Real Madrid, deservedly so, and we're in the final.
No, definitely, deservedly so. It was such a funny game, wasn't it? Because the stats off the first half, it would have looked like Madrid were comfortable, but we were the better side. Massively deserved the win. Oh, so relieved now. The nerves today.
We've beaten them 2-0 there. Oh, sorry, mate. I'm just so the adrenaline from that, and I'll get onto it. But I nearly set myself on fire for the second goal and the celebrations. But I'll explain that in a minute. So 1-1 from the first leg. If we sort of look at it, we got the away goal. And
Yeah,
I think watching that game, going into this, we're all sort of, are we going to rue the missed chances? Well, that's sort of how it felt in this game because, again, we had so many chances. Let's start from the beginning. First 10, 15 minutes, it wasn't, Madrid were in the game and I was a bit, tentative of the start. I was a bit nervous.
yeah. No, it was. That's a good word for it, wasn't it? It was a tentative start. Madrid had a lot of possession. I think we looked a little bit nervous as well, which is sort of to be understood really, because we have got some young players still. So it's just a huge game. But I think sort of around the 10-minute mark, we sort of settled into the game a bit, started creating a couple of chances. I think particularly early on, I know he scored obviously the second goal, but sort of getting the ball to Mason Mount was the key, wasn't it? Because sort of all things that were good were happening through him. So yeah, no, it was just a typical sort of start, wasn't it? But no, it livened up from there.
Yeah, I think it was always going to, be like that. We had the advantage kind of in the game. We set ourselves out defensively strong, and we'll get on to each individual. But if we're talking chronologically, before we went 1-0 up in the first half, he didn't have anything to do in the second half. But Edouard Mendy, okay, he made two saves, but the first one before we scored, what a save! Do you want to talk me through it? It was off Benzema, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was on Benzema shot, edge of the area, and just a great reaction save. Got it completely out of danger as well. It wasn't like, sort of dangerous parry. Brilliant save from him. And like I said, the two, as particularly as the game went on, the commentators highlighted how crucial those two saves from Benzema shots they actually were. Massively important. Great game from him and another deserved clean sheet.
Yeah, there was the header as well that you mentioned there, the second one in that first half. Similar. I think the first one was maybe a bit better. It was, dare I
Yeah,
say,
definitely.
it was Petr Cech-esque, wasn't it? The way that he, big hand and £22 million. Somebody go and find me a better bargain than that this season. What a signing he's been. I'll hold my hands up. He had all those clean sheets at the beginning, and it was sort of a case of sorry, I'm all over the place. It was kind of a case of like, he's not had to do too much, but he's coming up with those big moments. Champions League semi-final, brilliant. So the goal, I know you've got the notes there. I'm sort of scrambled all over the place. It was Timo Werner, wasn't it? Do you want to talk me through the goal?
Yeah, well, before the goal, I think you've got to sort of talk about the offside goal, haven't you?
Yes, so he scored before.
Yeah, Timo's disallowed.
Gone.
So obviously, that was. I mean, again, as I sort of just said, anything good was sort of happening through Mount. So Mount slipped it into Chilwell. Great ball across the box from Chilwell. And when they showed the replay, we're not obviously this isn't going to be a negative video, but Timo really has got the pace. He doesn't need to wonder, does he? He can afford to stay in line. Great ball off Ben Chilwell. Obviously, Werner did the thing that we've been asking him to do, showed his clinical side, put it in the back of the net, but obviously it was offside, so that was a little bit gutting. But obviously then it sort of it got made up for just afterwards, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if we actually look at the goal, and I think maybe we'll talk about the two goals, then sort of talk about individuals because there were so many good performances. But the goal stemmed from N'Golo Conte nipping the ball just like he did for the second goal, front foot. I think after we weathered that early storm, I think the players sort of settled a bit, calmed down to the occasion, and thought, "Hang on a minute, you know, this isn't the Real Madrid of old. We can, we're the better team, and we've showed it over the two legs." He nips in, really nice interchange with Werner, and then
Brilliant.
it gets to Havertz, and like we saw with his 2 goals, and that's vindicated the decision from Tuchel because, okay, he's had a shot, it's hit the bar, and Werner's headed it into an empty net. But that composure that he's got, he really, for a young man as well, how much composure has he got around the box?
No, he really has, hasn't he? I think this recent sort of run that he's been on, his confidence is developing. You can see that in everything he does. I mean, I know we'll get onto them. There's a few chances tonight. And, you very easily could have been talking about Havertz brace or hat-trick, couldn't you?
Yeah.
But, to try that chip, and it nearly came off for him, in fairness. He was unlucky in the Champions League semi-final against Real Madrid. Fair play to him. I mean, he was unlucky. And then, obviously, I do also want to compliment Werner.
Yeah.
Because we've spoken recently about, we all know what he brings to the team in terms of pace and energy and causing problems with his runs. But we've been calling for his clinical side. And he followed that up, didn't he? Like a bit poacher-esque type thing. And okay, it was headed into an empty net, but you've still got to be there. And that is exactly what I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans wanting from him. And he delivered that tonight. So fair play to him.
Yeah, it was superb. And I think from that moment on, I know the Benzema headed chance we mentioned, that was after that. Apart from that, Madrid didn't really do too much. And from then, we don't make it easy. I know I mentioned it at the start of the video. This game should have been long done, shouldn't it, before Mount's eventual goal in the 85th minute. Should we talk about the goal first, the positive? Because when that went off, I've gone running in the air. And there's a candle on. I've nearly knocked it over. I've nearly set myself on fire, but it was worth it. I was going for it. I'd like to mention as well, I didn't really celebrate the first goal because of the offside. I just had it in my head that maybe Havertz had gone too early. So that really annoyed me about VAR, but wasn't holding back on the second goal. Pulisic, brilliant impact off the bench, and he set Mount up. And I think,
well, it started with Kante, actually, didn't it, in fairness?
Yeah.
Another great interception off Kante. And when he put it into Pulisic, I actually, Pulisic went a bit wide. And if anything, I started to think, the chance has gone. But then a great ball off him, and sort of Militao hadn't quite seen Mount, just a clever bit of movement off Mount. And obviously, again, a relatively simple finish. But again, what we're saying, that Pulisic, could have felt unlucky to have not been in the starting lineup. And he was dangerous when he came on, to be fair. He had a couple of chances, created Real Madrid a lot of problems and with his energy. It's what we expect from him, and he's delivered it. But also, again, that man Mason Mount, wasn't it? He was good tonight again. Another young player with another goal in a big moment. So, hats off, really.
How much was it for Mount to get that goal? You see, he got subbed off right at the end, and him standing there with Tammy and Hudson-Odoi. Yeah, there's a real good amount of experience I want to talk about in a minute in terms of Silva, Azpilicueta, Rudiger. But we've got a young core, and when it comes from the academy, it was really nice, wasn't it, to see Mount get that goal?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a special moment, isn't it? And, a lot's been made of Mason Mount, sort of at club level, international level, about him being a bit like teachers' pets. But he's just proving all of that wrong, isn't he? He really is. We praise him a lot on this channel, and rightly so. He's earned every word of it. Fantastic goal, and he's had a fantastic season. He really has, hasn't he? He's been absolutely brilliant this year.
Yeah, let's talk about 2 or 3 missed chances, and then let's just go crazy on how many good performers there were. So talk me through a couple of the missed chances, which ultimately didn't come back to cost us. I think we all thought that it would, but go on. There was a couple, wasn't there? I know there was a Mount.
There was a few. Yeah.
Go on,
well, straight into the second half, wasn't the Havertz had a header that hit the bar?
Yep. Yeah, that was a good effort. That wasn't as bad as some of the others. That was just unlucky.
No, definitely not as bad. It was just unlucky. I'd actually got up off the bed, sort of half celebrating that, I've got to be honest. Wow. And then obviously a good one. A few minutes afterwards, Chilwell free kick in the 51st minute. Chilwell free kick, great ball in. Really was a good ball. And Silva got his head on it, but it just went over the bar. So I like that one.
Is the Havertz one-on-one, is that on there? Because that's one that I remember.
Yes, the Havertz one-on-one. Well, was it Jorginho with the ball in over the top?
Could have been, and then he's one-on-one with Courtois, and he just didn't put it underneath.
It was just straight at him, wasn't it? It was just...
And Golo one as well. Have you got that one?
Yes, I have. So I'm just trying to scroll through the notes. There's so much to note down tonight. No, I've lost my head here, Dom. I've
I
lost my
think,
help me out.
it came to him on the left-hand side. I'll get onto, man of the match in a minute, but N'Golo running as he did, and he gets in, and it was a brilliant block actually by Valverde, I think it was, comes back.
It was, wasn't it? It was off Timo ran, and the pace that Timo showed to get up the pitch, to be fair, was brilliant. And Kante, in fairness, keeping up with him.
Yeah.
And to get in the position was brilliant from him, again, as we expect, wasn't it? So there was a lot of chances, but...
It was.
I mean, it could have easily been... You could have been sat here talking about sort of 4-5-0, couldn't you?
Easily, and they have to make it difficult for us, and that was a horrible watch in the end, because you just kept, the longer it went on, the more chances you thought it'd go. Let's talk about man of the matches. There could have been plenty. Do you have one in mind? If you had to pick one, who would you give it to?
If I had to pick one, I would pick N'Golo Kante.
Yeah.
I just thought he was brilliant again. He was brilliant in the first leg. And he was influential in both goals. And like just those little interceptions, a little tackle here. I just love how he just goes about his business nice and quiet, and he did everything tonight. And in both legs now, he's been a massive part of the reason. You're talking about Toni Kroos and Luka Modric and Casemiro.
Yeah,
and he's ran the show, hasn't he? So I think that's a big statement from him. So a lot of candidates, but I would give Kante man of the match. Yourself?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. And in terms of that midfield battle, I think they just caught up with Madrid in the end. There was no runners off the ball for Madrid. I know it was sort of mentioned on comms, but they just couldn't lay a glove. If they went anywhere and Golo went, and like we sort of highlighted with the 2 goals, he was influential in both. He's won the ball back. He's really developed his game. And there was a time when I'm pretty sure even some Chelsea fans were like, well, should he be in the Chelsea 11, the best 11? First name on the team sheet. I know Mount as well, but he is just incredible. And I know we play Manchester City in the final, we'll talk about them at the end of the video. You look at maybe Mahrez over what he did at the 2 legs. This is a Champions League semi-final, and over 2 legs, and N'Golo Kante was absolutely amazing in both legs. So real big credit to him. Mendy, we've mentioned. Do you want to talk about that defence as well? I know we weren't overly stretched in terms of Madrid. They were quite disappointing. I imagine there'll be quite a backlash in Spain as a result of that. But solid, weren't we? Silva in the middle, Rudiger, Christensen, Aspi, Chilwell, the whole defence.
No, it's just what we expect now, and that couldn't be more complimentary to what Tuchel's done with the players and the players themselves. Just solid, organised. I'd also, Azpilicueta, I thought had a great game.
Yeah.
Just really showed his experience and just was doing the right things at the right time. And a couple of times you saw him trying to get players, like keep your heads from just reminding them of the sort of professional side of the game.
Yeah.
So I thought he had a great game. But just everybody, they all do their job so well. I mean, Rudiger's just a man mountain, isn't he? A couple of interceptions
today, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was wearing the mask today. Yeah, a couple of interceptions and clearances. He's just come into his own as well. I think the second half of the season, when Frank went and there was various little bits of talk about potentially his attitude not being right. I know I'd said to you, let's get him gone, but I'm more than happy to say completely wrong. He's been an absolute mountain the second half of this season.
Yeah, I think Thiago, they all defended brilliantly. Thiago Silva as well. In terms of Ramos came back in today for Madrid, it ultimately didn't pay off. But sort of everyone respects him in terms of he is, Mr. Real Madrid, and they all look up to him. I feel like Silva's got that presence in our team. Like if you look around and you see Thiago Silva there, I'm pretty sure they mentioned only 2 players played in the Champions League final.
They did.
I put myself in there. I know Silva's one. I don't know who the other one with. We'll have
Kovacic.
Okay, yeah, who's injured.
Obviously for Real Madrid.
Yeah. I mean, Thiago Silva, that's going to be so crucial, that experience. He's such a good signing. Let's talk about as well, that we can't keep going all night. Maybe we'll stop it in a minute and do an extra video and do loads of them. But Kai Havertz, he was brought into the side today, and I was quite surprised. Ultimately, Pulisic came on, and when we do our sort of preview for the final, I would start Pulisic. But Kai Havertz, in terms of on the ball, we saw what he offers, but his running as well. I'd love to see the stats on it because he just puts a shift in throughout the whole game. What a player.
No, again, I couldn't agree more, mate. He was everywhere tonight, wasn't he? And like we said, on a different night, you'd be talking about a brace or a hat trick for him. He was just unlucky, wasn't he? He had the chip, the header that obviously both hit the bar. They were just unlucky. Obviously, he did have the one-on-one. But no, he's brilliant. He's just getting really confident now, and I'm liking what I see. And it's obviously he's had a bit of a tough start. It's been a sort of slow adaptation to the league and the club, if you like. Now, obviously, he had his COVID battle. But I think going into next season, how exciting is he as a player? You know, what a talent he looks to be. So brilliant from him.
Definitely. How exciting for, next season. And we've got a FA Cup final, Champions League final and top four. I will say then, before we sort of wrap it up, Jorginho got a yellow card early on and played really well, because now I think we've mentioned every player in the video. But I was worried when he picked up that early booking, and second half, I think at one point he made a really important tackle on Benzema. So, yeah, it was a real team job, and Pulisic came on brilliant. Before we talk about Man City, Thomas Tuchel, what an impact. Of course, we won't forget what Frank's done, and always going to be sad about that and sort of how it ended. But if we're looking forward, what a job he's done, and what a manager. I don't know if you feel the same, but he kicks every ball on the touchline, and when you're seeing him there, his passion, and that's got to feed into the players, surely.
No, definitely. I mean, I like the bit. I don't really think you saw it on camera, but I know the commentators highlighted it, where Vinicius had sort of switched off a little bit, and the passion, and he was like pointing at for Chilwell to get into the space. And yeah. I love to see that from a manager, because quite often nowadays you don't see that level of passion off managers, and with him you really do. And I think it just rubbed off on the players, hasn't it? Because at times under Frank towards the end, they possibly did look a little bit disinterested. I mean, that might be harsh, but you sort of see the vibe I'm coming from. Whereas now we just look like such a unit, and everybody knows their job, and everybody wants to do their job, don't you? You see everyone's encouraging each other, and it really is a team. And I think obviously it's fantastic that he's got us back into the top four race, obviously the Champions League and FA Cup finals. So it's a brilliant season regardless. But I honestly do think, obviously I might say differently if we win these trophies, but one of the biggest achievements this season is the fact that he's gelled them as a unit. Because I think that was possibly Frank's issue, wasn't it? There was so many signings, and it was almost like a jigsaw, wasn't it? Trying to fit them together and, and for the right game. So for the fact that he's come in, hit the ground running and delivered the results he's delivered, we've knocked out Atletico Madrid and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Both Atletico have been in, a couple of finals in the last few years. Obviously, Real Madrid have won the Champions League a fair few times in the last few years. And we've definitely been the better side. You wouldn't say we were lucky in either of those ties. We've deserved to come through.
Yeah. So,
absolutely, I can't speak highly enough of him. I really can't.
Yeah, I mean, what an appointment. He's got that entire squad singing off the same hymn sheet. What an appointment, what a manager. And he's got an extra sort of incentive, considering he lost last year with PSG in the final. I don't know how long we've been recording. I'm just so excited. I didn't check how many drinks you had before you came on it. Probably should have checked if you'd had too many. How many have you had?
Just a couple, mate. It's a school night, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. I don't believe you, but we'll go with that. Let's wrap it up there. But Manchester City in the final, and we play them in the Premier League this weekend in what is a massive game for both teams. But it's also a dress rehearsal for the final, because obviously we need it for top four. City can win the Premier League, but how is it full strength team? How much can you if you win this game, have you got a massive edge going into the final? It's interesting, isn't it?
I think it's not irrelevant, but I don't think it'll actually have an impact on the final. Obviously Man City are trying to wrap up the title. We're trying to stay in the top four race. We're not going to need it, because obviously we're going to beat them in the final, win the Champions League, and that's how we'll be in it for next year. Obviously that's going to happen. But no, I don't think it'll have much of a bearing. I think Chelsea and Man City might play sort of different teams. I won't say weaker teams, because they've both got great squads. But I think it'll be a different team to what you'll see in the final. So I don't think it'll have much of an impact. And then obviously in the final, everybody wants to win the Champions League, don't they? So it's just a whole different dimension.
Yeah, I mean, what a night. if Chelsea are going to win the Champions League, like and subscribe, because then it will definitely happen. Massive support for the channel. I know we've been a bit quiet recently with the boycott and everything, but we're going to get loads of content out for you, especially building up to all the exciting games we've got ahead. Follow us on Twitter at Chelsea_debate and on Instagram _Chelsea_debate. Thanks for watching. Cheers, Josh, for joining me. I'm going to have a few more drinks. I hope you are as well. And any final message?
No, just up the Chelsea, isn't it?
It is. See you later, guys. Bye bye.
Cheers.